This is Mick Foley, the Hardcore Legend, and this is InYourHeadOnline.com.
All right, we are back, and we're joined by the return of Percy Pringle III, pallbearer. Welcome back, In Your Head.
Oh, man, it's about damn time y'all call me back. It's been 2 years. What'd you do, forget about me? You get the Iron Sheik on there, and he hangs up on you, but you won't call for old Percy down here in Alabama. That's okay. I know what kind of guys you are. No, seriously, I'm glad to be back. I enjoy you guys.
Oh, we really appreciate coming back on.
Mm-hmm, well, I hope you say that when this interview's over. You'll have to wait and see.
Well, I'll let you in a little secret. I say that to everybody, but hopefully this time I mean it.
Okay, well, I haven't done one of these in a long time. For a while I was doing a lot of these kind of interviews, and I quit. So I probably have done one in about a year. So I'm full of piss and vinegar tonight, boys. So let's roll.
Well, first of all, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really well. Things are good. It's good these days. Getting ready to have another grandbaby pretty soon, so that'll make 2.
Oh, congratulations!
And Grandpa Percy. But don't call me that. No, you can't call me that. No, you don't call me that. I will hang up like the sheep.
We call you Uncle Paul?
Oh, you can call me Uncle Paul.
Does anyone do that? Come up to you and call you Uncle Paul?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, now and then.
Besides, someone that would call you.
When wrestling's the furthest thing from my mind, somebody will walk up to me and bring me back. I mean, whether I'm in a grocery store or the mall or getting gas at a gas station, somebody will walk up and it'll all come back. Just boom. Oh, yes.
Is that probably the one that they request the most, the pallbearer? Or does it depend where you are?
Well, I have a lot of fun with it. They always say, they'll come up and say, do that voice. And I'll play real dumb, which is pretty easy for me to do. I'll go, what voice? That voice. What voice you talking about? So before it's over, I had them doing it. I had them standing there in the middle of Walmart going, oh, my Undertaker, And so here they are. They come up to me to get me to do it, and I end up getting them to do it. Oh, I don't remember that voice.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that voice, and that face, The power of the urn.
Oh, definitely. Do you think that's something a manager needs? Is something to hit the opponents with? Do you think that was an original object?
Oh yeah, I mean, us old school old timers. That was always the deal. We always, me and Jimmy Cornette. He had his tennis racket. I had my urn. When I was Percy, I had my walking cane. It's always good to have something in your hands. Especially when you're a sissy, heel manager. You got to have something to fight back with. They just want to paw their eyes out.
Yeah, I guess he really couldn't do Paulie Dangerously. Couldn't really do the cell phone anymore since it's so small.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Just something about having something in your hands. It's for a while when I wasn't carrying the urn, it was just you feel naked out there. Mm-hmm. Oh God, nobody damn well wants to see me naked. Oh no.
Maybe you guys have some videos you could put up on the website.
Do what?
I thought maybe
I didn't understand you.
Oh, well, you said no one wanted to see you naked. I said maybe we have some special videos we can put up on the website.
Oh, my God. Yeah, right. You must have went down to Florida.
Speaking of Florida, I was reading on your website, you have all those stories and everything. And I guess you used to live with Jimmy Garvin and the Freebirds. Did you ever get any sleep when you were living with those guys?
Well, see, I've got so many. You know what stories to pick, don't you? Me and Michael Hayes started out as fans together here. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. He's from Pensacola, Florida, and we're only like 45 minutes apart. And back in the days, it was the same wrestling territory then. So we all went to, me and Michael Hayes, and I don't know if you guys remember John Tatum, Hollywood John Tatum. He was out in Dallas for a few years with Missy Hyatt. Do you remember John Tatum?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah, he was part of the clique, too. And anyway, long story short, me and Michael Hayes go way back. And so what happened when I went to Florida, Jimmy Garvin was working in Atlanta, for the Georgia Championship Wrestling at that time, and he wasn't living in his house. So me and Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts, we ended up living in that house all together. Oh, did I get any sleep in Florida? Hell no. You'd think the Iron Sheik was living down there. I can't believe it. Percy Pringle doing the gimmick. I can't believe it.
Was Iron Sheik always like that? Was he someone fun to hang out with, or
Ever since I've known him, you know, I never had any problem with him. But I used to sit back and just watch what he done, you know, and just laugh, enjoy the show. Yeah, ever since I've known him, he's been like that.
Yeah. We're going to have Missy Hyde on in a couple of weeks. You mentioned her when she was with
yes,
John
please
Tatum.
give her my love, please.
Okay,
please remember to tell her hello from me.
Yeah, we're going to have... You go on, sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're walking over each other. There's a little delay there or something. Yeah, I'm way down here in Alabama, and y'all way up yonder wherever y'all are at. I think you got an English boy on there, too, don't you?
Yeah, he's there.
Most certainly.
He ain't said anything. Say something there.
Something there.
Don't make fun of the way I talk. You talk just as funny as I do, son.
Yeah, I'm
it sounds perfectly normal to me.
And I love your country, man. That was, you know, I get asked a lot of times, what do I miss the most about, you know, traveling with the Undertaker and working my years in the WWE and WWF. And without a doubt, it was traveling. I loved the traveling. I loved to see the world. You know, we went so many places, but I loved England. I really did. I've been there so many times, and I made so many good friends there. I still have fans that I used to meet there, you know, at the hotel after the shows and stuff. They still email me, still stay in contact with them. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that show we had at the SummerSlam in Wembley, the old Wembley Stadium, where we drew like 85,000 people. When Taker took on Kamala that night.
I'm a native of. Yeah, it's absolutely correct. I'm a native of Birmingham, so that's definitely a spot that they hit every time.
I love it. I love that. I love your country. I really do. I miss traveling. And England.
What about the food?
I loved it. Oh yeah, well you know me. I never had any problem eating. That's damn sure. And you know, and we were so damn spoiled because we had, you know, the company hired people to cook for us, you know, which came in handy in places like India. We went to India and places like that, you know, it came in handy. But I never had a problem eating at all anywhere in Europe. I loved the food there, you know, it was great, man. I loved it. I was always the type to go sightseeing. Anytime that, you know, I'd go to a new country, I always, you know, I went to see Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London, and you know all the sights I've seen, you know, many times over. The Wax Museum, and a lot of good times there. Really did. A lot of good times. I love your country. I hope you come back one day.
You mentioned Kamala, and there's another story on your site too about his wife when you know, before he smartened her up.
Yeah.
Did she ever try to use that shotgun on you?
No, I never.
Her husband or anything on TV?
No, I stayed away from there. I knew about her, man. I was smart to her gimmick. I stayed away from that house because I knew she was going to shoot my white ass if I come around there. If she was going to shoot her husband, she'd down with her and put a plug in my ass.
Did you ever hear Kamala's CD?
Oh, yes, absolutely. James is a dear friend of mine. What a fantastic guy. I love him to death. And if you've been to my site, you know I was his first manager when he started in the business. And, man, we're talking back 1978. You know, myself and Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy and Kamala and Rip Rogers, we all started together in the same territory back in 1978. And, my God, it'll be 2008 next year. 30 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
70, 80, 90? 30 years? Fuck, I'm old. I need to be putting the nursing home, I guess. I'm just 53. I'm only 53. 53 isn't old.
No.
You know, but I'm getting ready to have my second. I'm not going to have it, but my daughter-in-law is getting ready to have our second grandchild here pretty soon, in a couple of months. We're really excited about that. Life is good.
Yeah. Now your son also wrestles now. Is that something that you did you try to?
Kane? Are you talking about Kane?
He's also a movie star.
Oh, that's my son.
When you see him do well, is it kind of like your son doing well?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I have a very, very special connection with both Taker and Kane. You know, we're just like family. You know, and I love them to death. Good people. We stay in touch.
Did you see the movie?
The Kane movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was the shits. I thought it was fucking horrible. And I told him that too. I told him that, you know, I just thought, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it at all.
Was he upset that he didn't like it, or?
No, hell no. He knows me. No, we got too much of a history. He believes anything that I say, you know. Shit. nothing surprises him.
Well, Kamala's wife didn't pull a shotgun on you, but did you ever have any run-ins with like any of the other fans?
Fans?
Yeah, like a fan that back in Florida or something that when you were healed, they like.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, back especially early on, things like that don't happen anymore. You don't see fans, doing what they used to do back then. They were believers back then. I mean, I can remember we used to get run out of towns, all of these little redneck country towns in Mississippi and Alabama, back up in the woods. It wasn't unusual for us to get run out of towns all the time. People be up behind us with them shotgun hanging out the window, running our ass out of town, coming out of the buildings, and the National Guard armories and stuff, or the high school gymnasium, wherever we worked at, and your damn tires would be slashed on your car, and they really got into it back in those days. I never got hurt, thank God. I was scared shitless many times, though. But that stuff don't happen no more, and unfortunately it don't, because people believe them. They don't believe no more. And it's more fun to be able to watch a movie and not know the finish, and
definitely.
Suspend your disbelief and really enjoy it and get your money's worth. And instead of sitting on the front row worried about somebody's work rate or if they got drug tested tonight or whatever, fuck. It's just changed so much. I still have a passion for the business because I'm still involved, on a different level, but it's just not the same anymore. But it's 2008 now. Gosh, I'm talking 30 years ago.
Yeah, we got a call.
Don't let me ramble on. Y'all know how I am. I'm very bad about rambling, so don't let me ramble. I'll do better if you ask me questions.
All right. We actually have a caller here. Who is this?
This is Ashley.
Hi, do you have a question for Paul Bearer?
No, I was just wondering if I can enter my name for the Rey Mysterio match.
Yeah, but come on.
You called up during my hour. You didn't even want to have a question for me. You probably don't even know who I am, girl. How old are you, about 13? Please enter. Enter her. Somebody enter this girl. I like to enter her. I'll be better. I didn't mean to enter her that way.
Right. We understand. Enter in the contest.
Enter in the contest.
Yeah. How old are you, Ashley?
I'm 14.
Okay.
See. Was I close or not?
You were close.
God.
You must have a question.
You're old enough to be in the Jerry Lawler fan club.
Well, thanks for calling in, Ashley.
What are y'all giggling about? Y'all just a bunch of... y'all must know things that I don't know. I make a comment and y'all start laughing. What's the deal about Jerry Lawler and young girls? Anybody know? I don't know nothing about that. Would y'all know something I don't know?
Oh, no, never.
He's a good upset.
I know nothing.
Well, put that sweetheart in the contest, please.
All right, you're in the contest. Thanks for calling in, Ashley.
Bye, Ashley. It's your bedtime.
We got Swax on the line. Do you have a question?
How you doing, Percy, tonight?
I'm doing great, man. How old are you now? Don't say you're 14.
No, I'm not 14. I'm an old school wrestling fan. I'm 30-something. So
oh, my God. 30-something.
A teenager. So my question to you is, being you're a former manager and one of the greatest managers of all time, I just wanted to know what do you think of managers of today, and think it's good? Who do you think should not be managing? Because I like managers like a James Mitchell that like for Biss and for other for the new guy that he has, and I like Cherry for Deuce and Domino. What do you think about those kind of managers of today?
The only one that I'm really familiar with is James Mitchell. He's a class act. In my book, he's kind of old school, himself. But there aren't any managers like us old farts, like me and Cornette and Bobby Heenan and Jimmy Hart, all those guys. It's not like it used to be. The business has changed so much. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely a great manager, though. I think, when they actually do use a manager on TV, they usually get over. I thought he got over well in Daivari.
Yes, Daivari. Yeah, I saw
Paul
him.
Heyman.
Well, yeah. Well, Paul's old school, too,
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a question from the board, Intra?
Let's see.
You mean nobody's asked if I was gay? Nobody's asked if I was gay yet?
They have in the chat rooms, but I passed over that one.
Why didn't you? Just because I'm going to have a couple grandbabies don't mean I'm not queer.
That's a very
So ask me. Percy,
right.
Percy, are you a fag?
All right, Percy, we got you here on the line, and we have a personal question here. We know if you're a homosexual.
Gosh, they told you. just because I blow one guy, it makes me a queer. And that was. How do you think I got my job in the fucking WWE? Jesus Christ! Remember, I started back in 1990, 1991. We were all queer. Pat Patterson, all of us was queer. So all we did was steroids and drugs and suck dick.
And occasionally wrestle.
And see there, occasionally wrestle, and sometimes that was in the hotel rooms in jolly old England.
Oh man, we got the answer right here. That's definitely one for the archive.
So, no, I'm not queer.
Right.
I've been married 30 years, and I hope I've been married 30 more years if I'm lucky.
Actually, a serious question about that though, because you brought up Pat Patterson, and he's openly gay and everything.
No, you're kidding me. No, he's not.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry here. I'm sorry to have Pat Patterson on the show, but was there ever any problems with that, like with any wrestlers or anything? Because Canyon recently said he was fired from WWE because he was gay, and that never really made sense to me. Chris Canyon.
Oh. Well, I didn't know that. I wish I'd known that. We had rooms next to each other one time. If I'd known that, I'd cut a hole in the wall, made a little glory hole. No, I think Pat Patterson has one of the most fantastic minds in our industry. I have a deep respect for him. I consider him to be a very, very dear friend. And from my experience, I've never observed. You always hear stories. There's always stories. There's always going to be stories. But from my experience, I never saw, I never had any problems with Pat. Love him to death.
I didn't just speak to Pat Patterson. I meant, to me, it didn't make sense that someone would say that they were fired from WWE because of that. Because there are, he is openly gay and he was never fired, and a lot of people respect him. The Rock and Bret Hart. I think they always.
Everybody has to have an excuse. When things don't go the way that they wanted them to go, and they tell them it's time for them to move on, they got to come up with some kind of excuse. Say, well, whatever.
Right.
Teach his own.
Yeah,
I got fired because I got fired because I was fat. So whatever.
Yeah, well, I got 2 strikes against you, then I can't go there.
Oh, you fat and queer?
Right.
Well, you definitely got the last part right.
We got Jason here on the line. Do you have a question for Percy?
Would it be okay if I ask 2 questions?
Sure. As long as
am I fat or am I queer? Which one?
It has nothing to do with it. First off, I want to say that.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm a relatively young fan. I'm in my 20s.
How old are you, son? Now, I'm going to answer my first question. Tell me how old you are. I might turn queer tonight.
I'll be 23 on Thursday.
He's a pretty good
23? I got underwear older than that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll be serious. Okay, ask your question.
I'm a really big world-class fan. Like, I remember watching fan when I was taught, and I got to ask, I know you get this question all the time, but I got to ask, what was it like being in the Sportatorium the night you and Eric Embry tore the banner down and it went from world class to USWA?
First of all, I was a fan of world class before I ever had the privilege of ever working there. You know what I mean? I was watching world class on television before I got the job there. Mm. So I was, in the Sportatorium. If you never were ever blessed to get to go to the Sportatorium in Dallas, if you just watched it on television, I've been in a lot of arenas all around the world, man, countless number of arenas, and that Sportatorium just had an ambiance. To me, it was like a person, and it was such a wonderful place to work. I don't care. There's a lot of stories about the Von Erichs, and some of them's true, some of them's not. A lot of it's bullshit. But I have a deep respect, still do, for the Von Erich family and for that business, and I loved it there. And I'm starting to ramble, but back to your question, I've had so many, I've been so blessed to live my dreams over and over again and do things that I never even dreamed of in this business. And I have, a lot of emotional moments that's happened to me through my career, but I'll have to say that night in Dallas at Sportatorium that me and Eric tore down the World Class banner, bringing it into that company was certainly probably one of the most emotional nights that I've ever had, in the business, and I treasure those memories there. In fact, I have a picture hanging here on my wall here in my office with me and Eric tearing that banner down that night. I'll never forget that night. It was good stuff. Good stuff.
How would you compare that building to some of the other buildings you worked in? It was just so unique. I really can't name another venue where I performed that I could even compare to the Sportatorium. As far as the way it was built, I mean, it was like a pit, like an octagon, pit, and I'm sure y'all read a lot about it. And most of the people that probably listen to your show are pretty hardcore fans, so they know the story. They've seen the old pictures and they've heard the stories, but it was just, it wasn't air conditioning at all. And we're talking about Dallas, Texas. In the summertime, brother, it was brutal, but, gosh, you just got used to it. There's something you accepted. It was the Sportatorium. And, gosh, what a great place it was to work. So sad that it's gone now, along with all the Von Erich family, except for Kevin. Mm-hmm. Did you see the WWE, and it's not the WWE one, but the Big Vision Entertainment DVD about the
Yes, I did. I have it here in my collection.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think about it?
There's just so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I WWE's fixing to come out with a best of world class deal. Mm-hmm. If I was the one that was producing it, if I was the one that was writing it and picking stuff to put on the DVD, it certainly wouldn't be with stuff that they're putting on there. There's so many more things that I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fans would enjoy seeing. Because at heart, I'm still a fan. I'll always be a fan.
Yeah, I guess it'd be hard to take the whole history of it and put on one DVD. It's kind of like the AWA was around for so long, and to boil it down to one DVD, I guess it's pretty hard to do.
There's some classic. I spent 6 years there, and some folks might know, they might not know. When I first started the business, when the guy that broke me in, the guy that gave me my name is Percy Pringle. His name was the Great Mephisto, Frankie King. He was an old timer. He used to be one of the Blue Yankees, J.C. Dykes and the Infernos. He was one of the Infernos, and I don't know if y'all remember the name or not. But he gave me my name. He named me Percy Pringle in 1978. He gave Michael Hayes his name. He gave me and Michael and Kamala and Gordy. He gave us all our start. And but anyway, he told me a long time ago. He said, Percy, anytime that you're working the territory, always try to get you a job in the office. Because if you're working in the, when you're a manager, if you got a job in the office, just doing shit in the office. So, I was in Dallas for 6 years, and the entire 6 years I was there, I worked in the office at the Sportatorium. Mm-hmm. I handled all the merchandising, all the T-shirts, the program. I wrote the program that we sold, the wrestling program. Back in the day, we had a program every week, when we ran every week, and all the merchandise and all that stuff. So I had an office in the Sportatorium, and I don't know if you guys ever seen the picture of the fire, the last big fire they had there at the front of the Sportatorium. There's some windows on the second floor, right above the sign. It says Sportatorium. That was my office, where the fire came out of the windows there. Mm-hmm. And the Sportatorium's a great place.
What was your other question, Jason? Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, no, it's okay. Actually, from what Percy was saying, it actually reminded me of something that I have that I won on eBay last year. It's a world-class wrestling T-shirt from the 80s, and it actually has the television station's logo on the back, TV 39, Sundays at 11 a.m.
Okay. That's cool.
But my question for you was, knowing that you did work in the office and work class, do you ever think a territory like that could ever work and matter in this day and age?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if it's just the old school in me, that still wants to hang on to some of the old shit, but I certainly believe if someone had the right money, because of course it always takes money, the right locale, the right venue, everything would have to be right. It would have to be a perfect world, if you will. Everything would have to be perfect. The right talent, it certainly could work again. Certainly could, without a doubt.
Did you have anything else, Jason?
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in, man. God bless.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to talk to you, Percy.
It's my privilege. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Jason.
Yep.
Just everybody out there is trying to call in with a blocked number. We can't accept blocked numbers, so unblock your number before you call us. And it's 508-644-8503. All right. Did you have another question there, Barbie, from the board?
I actually have one.
Kind of unprepared.
Oh.
There you go.
I actually have one from the Big Tiny. He wants to know if you've seen Big Daddy V on TV.
Yeah, I have. How can you miss him?
He wants to know if you think he'd be a good foe for the Undertaker or Kane, if booked right.
If he what?
If he'd
I'm
be
sorry,
like.
If you'd have a good feud with the Undertaker or Kane if it was booked right.
No. I wouldn't buy a ticket to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good dude and all that, but no, I don't think that would draw. I don't think that would put any butts in the seats.
What do you think people would like to see, big guy versus big guy, or do you think they would rather see Undertaker or Kane versus...
If it was the right big guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Khali and the Undertaker, what an abortion that was. Jesus Christ. That reminded me of I just had a flashback of Giant Gonzalez. Holy shit. I'll never forget that blow-off we had with them at WrestleMania in Las Vegas.
Right.
I don't remember what WrestleMania that was.
The one where it's outside?
Yeah, out at Caesar's Palace.
Uh-huh.
Me and Taker were so fucking glad that was over with. When we walked away from the ring that evening, you know, it was like, thank God. That run is over with. Giant Gonzalez, and I've asked some folks, I won't mention any names about Khali, you know, and they told me that he was much better than Giant Gonzalez. I said, oh, thank you. That says something right there. But God. Don't let me ramble now. Get me back on track. Ask me another question.
All right. Did you like the suit though? Like the suit with the fur on it?
Gee, yeah, I wish I had one. I look like King Kong climbing the Empire State Building. No, it was horrible. The whole damn angle was horrible. He was horrible. The angle was horrible. The suit was horrible. The matches were horrible. In other words, it was all the shit.
Right. I think we'll skip over it. Let's delete any of the questions we have about Giant Gonzalez.
Okay.
I'll be glad to answer them. Ask me some more.
Yeah, we actually didn't have any, but... Well, did you have a question, Barb?
Yeah, one of our fans, Old School, wants to know, what would Percy Pringle say to Paul Bearer if they ever met?
Percy Pringle loved Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer bought his groceries. Paul Bearer paid the bills. Paul Bearer bought his clothes. Paul Bearer made the money. Percy Pringle, you know, he had a good career, but he didn't make the money Paul Bearer did. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Taker.
Yes. Earlier, talk about, you know, people saying, talk about work rate and everything. Do you think the internet is like, do they focus too much on like, just like talking negative about wrestling?
Yeah. You know, yeah. But, you know, I don't know if I want to get into this, because this is opening up a big box of Cracker Jacks, especially since all the people listening to me are on the internet.
Right.
So I'm just pissing in their Cheerios, you know. Uh-huh. It's just, you know, I'm old school, but I'm not too old school to not be able to realize how our industry has changed. Because I have been there for 30 years. I've been in this business for 30 years, and I've been through the changes. Unfortunately, I've been able to change, go with the flow. You make the changes. But the internet, it has its place. Sometimes it bothers me because, like I said earlier on, you know, it's so much fun to go to an arena and buy a ticket and get you a bag of popcorn or wherever the fuck, you know, and a drink, and sit down and watch wrestling. Mm-hmm. And enjoy the matches and enjoy the characters and get into the storylines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
But instead of trying to dissect everything and worry about what this guy's doing, oh my God, he's all juiced up. Look, man, he's fucked up. He's doing drugs. Blah 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 blah. You know, whatever. You know, enjoy it for what it is. You know, but like I said, you know, I understand. It's 2008. The internet, the cyber highway. That's the way it is, and it's not going to change. You know, whatever.
Better actually get to this caller here because he's calling all the way from Portugal. Got LTNA fan on the line.
He's calling from where?
Portugal.
Portugal. I've been there.
You what?
I've been to Portugal.
In the 90s? I think there was a WWF show here in Portugal, but besides these shows that WWE has been doing recently, there's been only one show. So I guess
wrong.
Oh, damn it.
Wrong. How old are you, son?
I'm 21.
You're 21. Well, you were just a wee lad pissing in your fucking diapers when I was there.
Okay.
So you don't remember. The WWF was in Portugal before. We were there in the early 90s. We done a tour of Barcelona, Spain, when they had the Olympics there that year. And cause I remember Taker had a match with the Mexican guy. Damn it. I done drew a blank. Help me, guys. The Mexican guy from
Santana?
Yes, Tito. Tito Santana in the Olympic arena there that they built for the Olympics that year in Barcelona. And the same time that we went to Barcelona, we went through Portugal and done 2 shows in Portugal. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, that's the show I'm speaking of. That 90s, back in the 90s show.
So what's your question there, LTNA fan?
I have a question on, recently I've been doing some research, and I noticed that you've managed Vader, and I guess that's the question that would need to be asked, is how was Vader, how was it him to be managed? Was he a good person backstage, or how did he act?
Vader was a fucking shit.
Okay.
You know, Giant Gonzalez was the drizzling shit. Vader was the fucking shit.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was managing Vader when we were in Kuwait when he got arrested, put in jail for turning over we were on the equivalent of like the Tonight Show over there, like a Jay Leno type of thing, you know. And I'm sure y'all remember the story.
Oh yeah.
We walked on air. So I wish somebody I don't know, I've never seen any footage of that. I'd love to see some footage of that incident. But as soon as we got on there, the first thing the guy asked was wrestling fake. Vader stands up and turns over the coffee table and starts tearing the set up. And I start taking my microphone off. Boom, boom, boom. I said, oh shit, I'm getting out of here. Anyway, after the tour was over, we all left. He had to stay. He's lucky he didn't do prison time over that. He was a total idiot. That's the bullshit he did, stuff like that.
Do you have anything else, LTNA fan?
Yeah, I have just one more question. Besides the WWF, now WWE, what was your favorite territory to work for?
Besides WWE, would it definitely have to be world class with the Von Erichs and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do speak Spanish because I have family in Venezuela, but yeah. But if we don't speak Spanish, it's a rumor, we don't speak Spanish in Portugal.
You speak Portuguese, right?
Yeah, exactly. Totally different.
Talk me some Portuguese.
Paul Bear.
Say hello, Percy. Say hello, Paul Bear. How are you? Say that in Portuguese.
I just finished saying it. Olá, Sr. Paul Bear. Como é que você está?
Well, God bless you. Gracias. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you for calling, man. I appreciate that. Good talking to you.
Oh, and please, Mr. Paul Bear, please come back to Portugal soon. We're missing you.
I'd love to.
Okay, goodbye.
Take care. Thank you.
All right.
Someone here in the chat room, they want to know, what did you think of Gary Hart?
I love Gary. Gary's a dear friend of mine. Old school wrestler, of course. Old school manager. And, I see him at the Cauliflower Alley Club, you know, and I love Gary. I've known him for years. He's good folks.
Yeah, we had him on the show. That's one of my favorite interviews.
I love my Uncle Gary.
Yeah. Did you have some from the board, Inchman?
Oh yeah, Gibbery Mouther. He actually wants to know: are you surprised by the Undertaker and Kane's longevity in the business?
No, absolutely. Now, you know, if you would have asked me that in 1991 or 92, you know, if I thought that in 2008 he would still be around, you know, it would never even enter my mind. But having been there and done that and watched everything go like it has, you know, no. They still have a lot of years left. You know, both Taker and Kane will be there as long as they want to be there. When they decide they don't want to wrestle no more, they'll leave. But you know, Vince is not going to fire him for being queer or something, you know.
Right.
He's gonna be there as long as he wants to be.
Well, what do you think about people? Because I've actually heard this. I think it was actually in Dave Meltzer said this, or somebody on that show.
Dave Meltzer. Oh Behold, the Pope has spoken.
Well, I actually totally disagree with this. When he starts talking about his Hall of Fame, and they kind of say Undertaker shouldn't be in it because he was just a gimmick.
Well, what the fuck is wrestling? My God, we're all gimmicks. I'm a gimmick. You're a gimmick. We're all wrestlers are gimmicks. We're all fucking gimmicks.
Right.
The fucking Meltzer's a goddamn gimmick. His damn Hall of Fame's a fucking gimmick. What's Hall of fucking Fame? Please. Jesus Christ. Hall of Fame. My God. You don't think that fucking Hall of Fame's a work?
Well, I mean,
my God.
If you don't have the Undertaker in there, I don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
You talking about Meltzer's Hall of Fame or the WWE Hall of Fame?
Meltzer.
Oh, Meltzer's Hall of Fame. Please. Hope Meltzer. Excuse me. Whatever he says is gospel. He should know. He's been there. He's done that, right? How many matches has he had?
Right.
How many dicks has he sucked?
I wouldn't put the quote on purpose.
Well, what about the WWE Hall of Fame? Are we going to see Paul Bearer in there? And if so, who would you want to induct Paul Bearer?
Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you never know. Never say never.
How about the Percy Pringle action figure? Because I saw on your website. Everybody check out PercyPringle.com. I'm not sure we said that or not, but check out
Percy Pringle. It's PercyPringle.com. I'm sorry.
And then I guess WWE's gonna have the rights to make Percy Pringle stuff. So
yeah, I hear it's going to be coming soon. I hear maybe within the next year.
What did you think the first time you saw yourself as a doll, an action figure? Don't call them dolls.
Hey, sweetheart, I've never saw myself as a doll. I've never been a doll. I've never looked in the mirror and said, "Oh my, you're looking good today." The Lord blessed me with this face and with this personality and this big old blabbermouth, and that's what I've had fun doing all these years, man. So praise the Lord.
Did you get another one from the board there, Incher?
Old School.
A lot here in the chat room. Let me check some of them. Yep.
Yeah. Old School, he actually has a question about Matt Bourne and Buzz Sawyer.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
He wants to know if he wants to know if the rumored attitude problems led to their demise in the business.
Oh, my God. Matt and Buzz. Matt and Buzz was without a doubt. Aside from the Undertaker and Kane, which they're just gimmicks, right? Matt and Buzz were without a doubt probably the best tag teams I ever had the privilege of managing in my years of the business. And guys, I counted one day. I've managed over 40-something guys since I've been in the business. Mm-hmm. And Matt and Buzz were a fantastic tag team, but they just fought all the time. They just fought each other all the time. All they did was fight. Mm-hmm. All the time. In the dressing room, in the car. You name it, they're always fighting. But if they could just got along a little bit better, things would be much better for them all. And unfortunately, Buzz isn't with us anymore. But Matt's still around.
Mm-hmm. Buzz Sawyer, that's actually one of my favorite guys when he was in NWA.
What a character he was, rest his soul.
He did
what a gimmick he was. I can't. That really burns my ass. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because he's a gimmick. My God, we're all fucking gimmicks. Here I go again.
Well, my point, though, I mean, you could give someone a gimmick and they might have, a short run, but I think the guy himself has to be talented to last this long.
You ain't shitting. Mm-hmm. I mean, my God. I don't know. No, I'm not going there. Okay. Next question.
All right. Sorry, someone's correcting me. They say that Undertaker was inducted. So, but I remember on the old one of the old Observers, they used to they would debate who should be in, and that was always the thing that they said was that he was a gimmick.
Well, I'm sure they did debate. They debate about every damn thing. They're master debaters.
We've got Boston Rob on the line.
Boston Rob. Boston.
What's going on, guys?
They parked the car down at the harbor.
That's right. How about them Red Sox?
Yeah. You just call and talk.
How about Alabama? Roll Tide.
So you got a question there, Boston Rob?
What's up?
You got a question?
Just on the call, say what's up.
Oh, we got.
You don't have nothing else to do. Just pick up the phone and dial a number and say, "What's up?"
Exactly.
You're on there with Percy Pringle.
You got the greatest gimmick manager in the history of professional wrestling on the phone, and you don't even have a question.
I know. You know what? I'm going to get off because you guys just embarrassed me.
Yeah, why don't you hang up and get off?
I will say, in Boston Rob's defense, he doesn't listen to us on the computer. He listens to.
The only thing that come out of Boston was any good was Kennedy's. Now hang up.
So I don't think he knew who the guest was tonight. He usually just calls.
Exactly. I apologize. I hope to get you guys before I get the guest on, but
call back when you know.
Percy Pringle, though, he was awesome. He's still awesome. So there you go.
Oh, now ain't that sweet? What about those socks?
I'll talk to you guys later.
I love baked beans.
Boston Rob. Thanks for calling in, dude. All right. Do you have another question for the board, somebody?
Okay, PHU, he wants to know what it was like wrestling Mike Von Erich.
I never had to wrestle Mike Von Erich.
Oh.
Thank God. I wrestled Chris. I helped break Chris in, and give him his matches. Of course, I knew Mike. I was there when he passed away. Unfortunately, I was there when almost all of them passed away. So, anyway, we won't go there. But like I said earlier, I have a deep respect for the Von Erich family, and there's a lot of bullshit you read on the boards or read on the internet about them, and they've been gone a long time, and they were brothers of mine, and I miss them dearly, every one of them. Good people. They've really taken a bad route. They're not here with us anymore, so they're not here to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of some of the bullshit's true, and some of it's not, and some of it, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. That's wrestling. That's the way this business is. Somebody's always going to talk about you. I don't give a damn what anybody says about me. Hell with it.
And, if you go back to watch that stuff, they got superstar pops from the crowd. You can't take that away.
I'm telling you. And like we talked about earlier about the Sportatorium, just the ambiance of that building, and they were gods, man. They could walk on water, and maybe, and maybe that's one of the reasons they're not with us anymore, because that's the way, that was their mindset. So, they actually believed, their press, and they thought they were gods at one time.
A lot of people from World Class, they're not with us anymore, but do you think part of it was because they pushed guys that were really young, and, when you're young and you got a lot of money, you pretty much do whatever you want? Yeah, that's true. They were Von Erichs. They were born in the business. They were born into the business. Their dad was in the business and established, when they were born. So they lived their whole life, behind that curtain. You know what I mean? Right.
They were, that's what they were. When they were teenagers, they could have all the women that they wanted, and if they wrecked their Corvette, Daddy went out and bought them another one.
Yeah.
And although I love them and I miss them all dearly, but, that's the way it was. And you can't go back now, and I just hope they all, they're all resting in peace.
Mrs. Big Red Machine in here, who was saying that you have a very hot son, because from her name, Mrs. Big Red Machine, you can tell she's a big Kane fan. She wants to know, she's been hearing rumors that Undertaker's retiring for a few years now. When do you think he'll actually do it? And she says, hopefully not anytime soon.
And like I said earlier, when he's ready, he can work as long as he wants to work. And there's no reason for him to retire unless he wants to. Mm-hmm. He's been very, very, very blessed, and he realizes it, and he appreciates, everything that he's ever done. He doesn't have the big head, the big superstar head, and all that shit, and thinks his shit don't stink. I know his shit stinks. I smelled it before. But no, seriously, Mark's a first-class gentleman, family man, athlete. He's class act, dear friend.
Someone here in the chat room said, what are your thoughts about Tony Schiavone and what you said about him on the TNA show? Was that really what you thought?
Hell no, it was all scripted. Vince Russo wrote that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, what do you think about Vince Russo?
I like Vince. I've never had a problem with him. Never have. I've known him since he was just a mark hanging out the back door. Well, we're all marks. But he was a fan hanging out the back door of the arena, trying to get interviews with guys. That's when I first met him. Mm-hmm. And so I've known him for a long, long time, and I've never had a problem with him because I was smart to his gimmick and never had a problem with him. But I was blessed because I was hooked up with Taker, and most of our stuff wasn't written. I can't ever remember me and Undertaker doing a interview that was scripted. Mm-hmm. All my interviews, all those funeral parlor segments, all that stuff was just, it came out the top of our heads. It was never written. We did, Vince trusted our talent and, our experience enough to, we didn't have to depend on scripts or anything. So we were real lucky. We worked there during that time.
Do you think that's bad for wrestling now that they script most of the stuff?
Absolutely, man. I'm talking about characters and gimmicks and shit. Somebody that has a talent that you can give somebody a gimmick, like giving me Paul Bearer. Here, you're going to be Paul Bearer. We want you to be blah, 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 and you become that character, and that's what I did. And, I went to a WWE show here not too long ago, and I was walking through the back, and I saw Ric Flair over in the corner memorizing a script. And I didn't say, I just shook my head and thought, my God, look at that. The greatest, without a doubt, and without a doubt, Ric Flair is the greatest world champion of all time, without a doubt. And I'll argue to the grave over that. He is the epitome of what a real world champion used to be. When you saw Ric Flair walk that aisle back in the day, that was what a world champion is supposed to look like. And we don't have that no more.
Do you think he actually is going to quit WWE, or do you think he'll be back?
I don't know. If it's his time, and if he wants to quit, he well deserves his time off, because he certainly paid his dues. He deserves to quit. But if those guys want to keep on going, more power to them. Let them keep on going.
I mean, do you think today he could still have like another run as champion? Because I think anytime he actually has something that's
don't know. It's
really into it.
It's shooting on the square. He never could be what he was. And I could never be what I was, and none of us could ever be what we were 20 years ago. Age does a lot to you. And it's 2008. It's not 1988 anymore. Mm-hmm. So things are different. And so I can't see him having the same run he did 10, 15, 20 years ago. No way.
Right. Are you happy that...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go on, I'm sorry.
No, we're all sorry.
We're all sorry here, in here.
Where's my little English boy at? I ain't heard him say anything in a little while.
I'm sorry.
You paying all that long distance talking across that pond and you're not even saying nothing.
It's 1:30 a.m., I believe, for him.
Gosh.
So you got a question there, Barb?
I certainly do. From one of our fans called Tandy wants to know, is there anybody you managed as Percy that you think might have worked better as Paul?
Is there anybody that I managed as Percy that what?
That would have worked better if you managed them as Paul Bearer?
No. I never. That's interesting. I never thought of that before. I don't know.
Was there anybody like you? I just wondered, like, there's somebody you managed, like in World Class or in Florida, that like never really got a shot in WWE that you thought really deserved it or could have been like the big star in WWE.
Gosh, I would have to look at it. Like I said, I've managed over 40 guys, man. I've managed over 40 guys, in my 30 years in the business. Mm. I would have to look at the list. I couldn't sit here and.
Yeah.
I've been playing around with you guys. I've been bullshitting with you guys too long now. Y'all start asking real serious questions. I have to. Oh, wait a minute. I need to think about this one.
That's how we get people. We go
all that other stuff. All that other stuff I've been firing off at you. All that other BS. That's just having fun, come off the top of my head. But when I have to think seriously, that's a different story.
Right. Well, that's usually what we do here. 2 hours of us just BS. We got Brian.
I have to be serious. I don't know if you guys. Do you guys know what I'm doing these days?
Are you doing like I saw on your website you're doing a lot of indie shows.
Yeah, I for about 2 years I had my own little territory here on the Gulf Coast. I live in Mobile, Alabama, right down here on the Gulf of Mexico, between right near the Florida Panhandle there, and I had a group down here called Gulf South Wrestling, where we done very, very well, and I ran, several shows a month. Everything was going real well. But then I had an opportunity about a year and a half ago to get back in the funeral business full time. And I'm sure most of you folks know that I'm a real funeral director. I have a degree in mortuary science. I'm a licensed funeral director and embalmer, and that's something I've always done. That's where a lot of the Paul Bearer stuff comes from. Like, I'm sure you guys know all this stuff. Anyway, long story short, about a year and a half ago, I had the opportunity of going back in the funeral business full time, and so that's what I did. So for the last year and a half, I've been back in the funeral business full time. I'm the managing director of a funeral home, a crematory, cemetery, mausoleum, a kind of a Walmart of death care, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so I'm hook, line, and sinker back in the funeral business full time. So when I'm not busy at the mortuary, I still do some indie shows here and there. And my youngest son has started wrestling now. When I was running my little organization here, we had a wrestling school, and he was one of the graduates of one of our first classes. His name's Daniel. He wrestles as DJ Pringle, and he's doing very well. He's a big boy. He's about 6'4", weighs about 270, and he's the youngest Pringle. I got two sons. My oldest son is Michael, and he's married, and I've got a little girl, and he's 28. There's 7 years difference between him and Daniel. Daniel will be 21 in a couple of months. But Daniel's doing very well. I've been managing him a lot. And, just going out to these indie shows, having fun, and just being in his corner, and just having a good time. But I'm working full time. I'm working full time in the funeral business and doing indie shows here and there. And most of the shows that I do have to be, because of my job, my real job, has to be close to home.
Yeah.
I turned down as soon as I went back in the funeral business full time, I knew it was going to happen. I started getting a lot of bookings, a lot of calls from around the country, and I just can't travel like I used to because I'm tied down at the funeral parlor. But things are good. And I think last time I talked to you, we talked about cancer. I talked to you about my wife. My wife had breast cancer, about 5 years ago. And anyway, long story short, she got it again about a year ago this time. And I just wanted to mention that this is October. This is breast cancer month. I've lost 3 members of my family over the past year from cancer. And this coming Sunday, my little brother, my baby brother, died of cancer. This coming Sunday will be a year. I lost my baby brother. But cancer is such a serious thing, and since I have your ear for a minute, and whether you're a guy or whether you're a girl, it doesn't make any difference. If you're a girl, you need to be doing what you need to do. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Do your monthly breast exams, have your mammograms when you're supposed to have them. And if you're a guy and you got a girl that you love, you better stay on her ass and make sure she does that. Because I'm telling you, man, that shit will pop up when you least expect it and take somebody that you love and just drag them, through the worst pain and the worst suffering that they've ever experienced in their life. And it's a horrible, horrible thing. So you folks, have your cancer checkups. Just do that. If you don't do it for anybody, do it for yourself and do it for me. And it's something that I preach all the time. And it feels so good. Every once in a while, I'll get an email from somebody that said, Percy, we heard about your wife, we heard about your brother, and we went and had a checkup. And thank God I went because they found something, and they caught it early. Mm-hmm. And it's so important, the matter of them catching it early or catching it late is a matter of life or death. But I just had to get serious here for a minute, so let's move on. Unless you want me to hang up.
Well, we got to call.
See, I can take you. There's a lot of highs and lows with me. Mm-hmm. I can take you from a fun time to down to the serious time too.
Yeah.
But that's a very serious subject for me. I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, definitely. We got a call here. We got Brian Jones on the line.
Brian Jones.
Yeah. I was listening to him, and I'll make sure I remind my wife to get a mammogram. My main two questions actually. One, if you have any funny stories about Eric Embry, because I used to watch World Class on ESPN when I got home from school when I was a kid, and he was like one of the most entertaining guys I've ever seen for such a small company. And I read that he was kind of an interesting person behind the scenes in Mick Foley's book. I know that you managed him. I was wondering if you had any stories about. Secondly, how did you lose all that weight? I mean, as a compliment, you look really good.
I lost that weight because of the miracle of gastric bypass surgery.
Okay.
Yeah, praise the Lord for that. That saved my life. I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. I got up to 525 pounds. 525 pounds. I was the walking death. ready to go. And through that miracle of that surgery, I was able to lose almost 240 pounds. And
wow.
And it's been almost 4 years ago. This next month will be my 4th anniversary since I've had that surgery. So I pretty much plateaued out. In fact, I've gained a little bit back, which is a normal thing for that surgery. But I'm very, very healthy now, and I appreciate you asking that. And back to your question about Eric Embry. You're right. If you talk about Mick Foley, I remember the Mick Foley stories about Eric Embry. He was a character, all right. I was going to say a funny story. There's not really. Eric Embry is well known within our business because he has a very large unit between his legs.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading about.
Mick Foley sure liked to talk about that in his book. Oh.
Well, if you ever seen it, you talk about it too. I'm telling you, boys, this guy, I don't know how he took that thing up in his legs when he wrestled in them tights. It had to be uncomfortable as hell. I think he rolled it up and put a rubber band around it or something, man. He was very, very blessed. But Eric, I still stay in touch with Eric. He's back home in Kentucky, and family man with his wife and kids. And in fact, he ran for sheriff up there a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, in a little place somewhere near. I think it's near Paducah. Somewhere I can't think of the little town he lives in. Mm-hmm. He didn't win but he did run for sheriff a few years ago. But he's doing well. And we had a lot of good times. I had a lot of fun managing Eric.
Yeah, because your fuse with Scandal Akbar, that was like, for such a small company, that was like really, that really had me enthralled for when I got to see it on TV. He was one of my favorite bad guys.
That was some really good stuff. And during that period is the first time that I guess I'd probably been in the business at that point when I was with Eric there. Well, I started the business. I had my first match in 1974. But I didn't become Percy until 78. I tried to be a wrestler there for about 4 years, and finally, somebody finally said, Percy, have you ever decided? They didn't say Percy. They said, have you ever tried managing? No, let me try that. And that's where I belong, without a doubt. But during that time I was with Eric, that was the first time I'd ever been a babyface. Mm-hmm. So that was really a learning experience for me, about being a babyface. Because I've always enjoyed being a heel. It's so easy being a heel. Mm-hmm. It just comes natural for me. Being a babyface, I have to work at. Being a heel is just like turning the light switch on and off. But Eric, Eric's good folks, good people, and I learned a lot with him and with him.
Mm-hmm. I think he got in a car accident which ended his career. Things like
that. Yeah, that happened about 15 years ago.
Yeah, he was in a match with the 18-wheeler and kind of messed his knee up and stuff. And truthfully, he probably could have still continued to wrestle, but he was ready to quit. He had a young kid, and since had in the last year or two, he's had another child, and he's very happy doing what he's doing. And good people.
I was going to ask this one because this guy's asked it the whole hour.
Thank you very much, Percy.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, Brian.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Yeah, someone here in the chat room, they've been asking this since we had you on here, and they keep saying it must not be important enough that I haven't asked it. WWE fan, they want to know, is it true that you managed the Honky Tonk Man?
I'm going to this Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at an indie show this coming Saturday.
Mm-hmm. All right.
A little town about just across the Mississippi. It's going to be over in Mississippi, just about 30 miles from here, from my home in Mobile. I'm going to be managing him this Saturday.
Oh,
and I'm looking forward to it because Wayne's always been a good friend of mine, and I haven't seen him in a long time since his last run in the WWE, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. So it should be a lot of fun. This Saturday night.
All right, yeah, because he's apparently actually going to drive there. I thought maybe he was just the promoter, was trying to get us to plug this event. But he's actually going to drive there, and he wanted to make sure it was legit. So,
my God, where's he driving there from?
I don't know. WWE fan there, if you're listening, well, I'm obviously listening in the chat room. I don't know where he's driving from. He just said he's going
Dallas, I think.
Dallas? Okay.
Oh, okay. So. That's not too bad. I've heard a lot worse. Because this place where this event's at, it's real small. It's a real small little hole in the wall. It'll be standing room only. They'll have 400 or 500 people there, and that's good for a little indie event in Mississippi. Well, that's good for an indie event anywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing Wayne, and I'm going to be in his corner Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Is it like more fun for you to like manage in a small arena like that where you can kind of see everybody and interact with everybody?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You know, it's a lot of fun, and there's no pressure no more. There's no all that pressure that used to be on me. You know, when I was working with Mark, you know, and for WWE, there's a lot of pressure. You know, to be there and perform and do what you're supposed to do. You know, when I'm working out these days, you know, I've been there, done that, and I can just relax. You know, I can go out to the ring with my son or whoever I'm managing and just be me. You know, just like I'm having fun with you guys on the telephone tonight. You know, just go out and enjoy the fans and bullshit with them and just have a good time. That's what it's all about, just having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we met you last year at the Capital Legends Fan Fest, and that was a lot of fun. Do you enjoy those two, like the Fan Fest?
In fact, I wish I could do more of those. Not the one they had in San Francisco this weekend. Right. but like I told you earlier, because of my quote real job unquote, you know, I can't venture out that far anymore. Yeah. In fact, guys, right here in front of me, I have my office is like a little Hall of Fame, you know. Here at my little home office there, I got a picture of me, Jimmy Cornette, Bobby Heenan, and Sherry Martel. It's taken in the bar at that hotel at that Capitol Fan Fest that you're talking about. And who would ever known, a year over a year ago when we were there, that Sherry would be gone now.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to get on that subject. That's another very emotional subject for me. Is all the guys and girls that we've lost through the years, and I believe we talked about that the last time I was on. And I'm sure I said it because I say it all the time. There's going to be more.
Right.
And there's going to be more. You know. And that list just keeps growing and growing, and it's just unfortunate. And I'm glad that you know that Vince and company are taking steps now to try to alleviate some of that. You know, I'm sure you guys have heard that Vince is paying for rehab for anybody that had a contract with him.
Yeah.
You know, he'll pay for your rehab if you have that kind of problem. Mm-hmm. Praise the Lord, I've been very blessed that I don't have those problems, thank God. And not that I'm a saint or anything, because I definitely had fun. You know, I've been there, done that. I'm not ashamed to tell you. I partied. I'm a party, and I'm not going to say I wouldn't do it again. Right. But thank God I would never. Thank God I knew where the line was, and I was blessed, and I never got hooked or anything. But anyway, I was contacted too. I got a letter from Vince a month or so ago. You know, he's paying for rehab for anybody that needs it. Well, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. You know, maybe if this would have happened a year ago, Sherry would still be with us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun meeting her last year at that fan.
Oh, what a sweetheart!
Yeah.
Oh, we used to have so much fun together.
What do you think changed, like in WWE or Vince, that they kind of remember in the past more than they used to have, like the WWE 24/7 and the Hall of Fame? Because it used to be like they never really talked about people that weren't with the company anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first started, you know, hell, with Taker, and you know, I signed my first contract in December of 1990. You know, hell, this year, well, next month it'll be Taker's anniversary at Survivor Series when he started. He started Survivor Series in 1990. I signed my first contract in December 1990, but I didn't go on the road with him or come on TV until like January of 91. But back then, you never acknowledged any other organization. You know, anytime we done promos or anything, you couldn't acknowledge your past life in the business. Like I never could talk about Percy Pringle, not that it would ever fit, but you didn't talk about anybody's past in another group or anything. There was only one company, and that was, you know, the WWF at that time. And I guess, really, there's only one company. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that's the reason? Because there is only one company, they kind of, you know, Vince maybe feels like he kind of owes it to wrestling to, you know, kind of keep an archive of all the footage that's out there and recognize the past.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good thing because, you know, if he wasn't showing it, it'll just be sitting up, you know, with mothballs and stuff on there, you know. And I have a lot of stuff, man. I'm not Jim Cornette by far.
Right.
Y'all know Jim's reputation. Jimmy is, I love Jimmy to death. We're so much alike, it's scary. It is. God, if you ever had us two on the show at the same time, I don't know what you guys would do.
We wouldn't have to talk. We could just sit back.
Jimmy's he's a big collector. You know, I'm a collector too, but not like Jimmy. I've got everything that I've ever done. You know, gosh, back before the Florida my Florida days back in '85 when I was first with Rick Rude and everything. But it's all sitting here in the closets, It's all packed away, and it's not like I don't come in from work at night and pull out a tape and stick it in the VCR and watch it. It's just so when something comes on 24/7, or you know what I mean, or on YouTube sometimes. I see some good stuff on YouTube sometimes that I forgot about that somebody will put on there, and it's just good stuff. This brings back a lot of memories. So it's good that he's bringing back all that stuff so the fans can see, what we used to do.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's a lot of people say bad stuff about him, but I think that's really good. The WWE 24/7, I watch it all the time. You think it up? Yeah. Did you have anything else, guys, from the board? You probably should let Percy go here pretty soon.
One last
Not necessarily from the board.
All right.
But I am curious.
Did that slimy say he was bored?
No.
Not quite.
Nothing from our message board.
Damn lie.
No, but I actually have a question. Now that you're back in the funeral business full time, have you had a wrestling fan come in to inquire about interning a relative of theirs and see you and just look like they're going out of their mind?
All the time. You have to imagine. I'm down in the South, man. I'm down in the South. The deep South, the heart of Dixie, and these folks down here are wrestling fans. If they're not now, they were. And it happens all the time. I'll be sitting in the office making arrangements with the family for making funeral arrangements for somebody that they've lost, and one of them will say, and I know it's coming. I can feel it. I can tell they're wrestling fans, and I can know what they're going to say. They'll say, "Excuse me, sir, you sure do look familiar. Were you ever?" And I go, and it's just, and yes, I get recognized all the time by families.
Right.
And I've had them say, "Oh, I can't wait to get home and tell them Paul Bearer buried my grandma." It's just, and it makes it so, because that business is, that's a pretty heavy business. You're dealing with people's problems all the time, and I take great pride in what I do, and it makes it really easy. The relationship that I have with the families that I'm serving, it makes it easy than knowing me, from my life or current life or whatever you want to call it or whatever. Because in my book, once a wrestler, always a wrestler.
Yeah, it'll be kind of a surreal experience, I think, coming in, if you're a real big wrestling fan, seeing Paul Bearer.
You're not going to believe this. And I'm going to tell you this one last story then, and we'll start winding this up, because I could stay on here all night, When I first started back in the funeral business about a year and a half ago, maybe it was about a year ago about this time, I had a young girl come in. She was 26 years old, and her hut, she had two children, about 8 or 9 years old, a little boy and a little girl. She came in by herself to make arrangements for her husband, who had cancer. He was 29. He was 3 years older than her. His name was Douglas. I'll never forget. She came in to make pre-arrangements. The doctor told him he's going to go anytime. If you need to go ahead and start planning, his funeral arrangements. So she came in, and she was a big wrestling fan, and recognized me and all that, and I'd done everything I could to help her. And she says, and her husband was in the last stages of cancer. He was dying, and she said, "Would you do me this big favor?" She said, "Would you please sign a piece of paper or something for Doug? This is the guy that's dying, her husband, and let me take it to him." And I always carry, the old WWE promo pictures, the old 8x10s, I have a shit pile of those, and I always carry them with some in my briefcase, because they come in handy sometimes. I said, "I got something better yet. Let me sign one of these pictures for him." And she was she said, you just ain't gonna believe it. Oh, he's a big fan, And anyway, long story short, 2 days later, I got a call in the afternoon, and Doug had passed away, and they wanted me to come and remove his body. He died at home in a hospital bed in his house, and they wanted me to come to his house and pick him up, and bring him back to the funeral home. Anyway, when I got to his house to pick him up, I walked into the room where he was, and on the table, next to his bed, was my picture that I had signed for him. And his family just kept telling me how much that meant to him, and pretty heavy shit, man.
Yeah.
pretty heavy stuff, and it all, and I'd done everything I could to help that family. In fact, she came in not too long ago and just come in to visit, to sit down and talk to me and just BS with me, and see how things were going. She came out by the cemetery to visit him, and But that was pretty heavy. That when I walked in to remove his body, and there's my picture, and I said, "Gosh, there's just something right about this."
Yeah.
But she said he was so happy. He was calling his friends, telling everybody that Paul Bearer was making his funeral arrangements. Who in the hell? They'll say, his friends were saying, "What are you on? You taking too many pills,
Right.
And they were laughing about it. Paul Bearer is making my funeral arrangements.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good if he can laugh about it,
Yeah. And like I told his wife, if I can, and that's part of being a funeral director and being a performer, an entertainer as well as being a wrestler. When I was in the ring, out there acting the fool and having a good time. If I could put a smile on the face, that made it all worthwhile. And in my business as a funeral director, if I can just ease the pain of the family during this time, just let them take a little bit of it off their shoulders. That's my job. Put some on me. Let me have some of this pain. Let me help you with it. I'm a success, and I've been very, very blessed to be a success both in professional wrestling and in the funeral service. And I'm a very blessed man. I have a wonderful family and a lot of good friends, and I just really enjoyed talking to you guys tonight. I like to carry on and have fun, but that's what it's all about, is having fun. Yeah. I thank you so much for having me on again. Maybe we'll do it again 2 more years.
Yeah, sounds good to us. We'll write it down.
So thank you so much for having me, and y'all take care. If there's anything I can ever do for you guys, you know how to find me.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate coming on. It's a great time whenever we have you on here.
Everybody out there listening, if you get a chance, stop by my website. If you've never been there, it's percypringle.com. A lot of old pictures, a lot of old stories, and a lot of new stuff, too. I have a blog on there that I try to update as frequently as possible. Sometimes because of my schedule, I don't have time to do it. But I try to do it at least once or twice a week, kind of update of what's going on and just BS.
Right.
But thank you guys so much. And Mr. Slimy Limey over in London, England, or wherever over in Birmingham, right?
That's right.
It's about time for you to go to bed now.
I got a little more show to do and a little bit more drinking.
Do you have to work in the morning?
I don't have to work in any morning.
He's a deadbeat.
You guys are great, man. You guys are great. Y'all do a good thing. Just the fact that y'all have been doing this for a couple of years, since 2005, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. 95, like I said earlier. Right.
In your head.
Yep.
Just, there's so many of these shows and internet things that they just come and go. Come and go. They don't. You guys have been around for several years, and y'all do a good thing, and you got a good following, and you're fun guys, and I just want to thank you and tell you how much I appreciate you. Oh, well, so you guys take care, and y'all be blessed.
This is Rodney Mack, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.